Hey guys, it's me Simo Orahara, and in this video, we're going to talk about one of the amazing things about Ichigo. Whether you like him or not, whether he's one of your favorite characters or not, I don't think there is any disagreement about how awesome the mask is, Ichigo's mask, the one that defined so many of Ichigo's battles across many chapters and episodes. So Ichigo's mask represented a kind of depth in his character's writing, highlighting Ichigo's internal struggle to control his powers, to control something he always saw as a foreign entity inside his body. That was until one of the greatest plot twists was revealed. White, the figure long believed to represent instinct and brutal, merciless power, was actually his Shinigami power, distinguished by the hollow nature. And that's not to mention how hollow Ichigo remains one of the most beloved topics among fans, sparking discussions about his true identity, his philosophy about the king and the horse, and of course, his overwhelming strength. But one of the most distinct features that set Ichigo and the hollow apart was the mask, how it evolved throughout the story, and how its shape would change every time Ichigo overcame a major turning point in his combat life. That's why guys, in this video, we're going to explore the reasons behind Ichigo's transformations every time his mask changed. Is there a specific story or meaning behind these changes? Or was it just something random that Kubo decided to do? And before we start guys, I would like to thank everyone who interacted with my message at the end of the last video regarding the surgery my mother will be undergoing next month. Your support guys means a lot to me and I need it now more than ever. So to anyone able to support me during this period guys, whether through YouTube donations or PayPal, I'll be truly grateful. Thank you guys so much. And so, if we're going to talk about Ichigo's mask, we have to talk about the Vizards. They are the ones whose condition most closely resembles his. It is true that they underwent holification at certain point in their lives, after they already had their own Zanpakuto. Ichigo's case, on the other hand, is different. He was born with the hollow already inside him, merged with his Zanpakuto, so much so that the hollow became a part of his Zanpakuto that can't be separated from it. Still, Ichigo, who at the time didn't even fully understand his power or how they worked, turned to the Vizards to teach him how to control the hollow power that was eating away at him from the inside. The Vizards' training revolved around making Ichigo fight the hollow within his inner world so he could dominate it. As a result, gain the ability to wear the mask that distinguishes all the Vizards. And one interesting thing guys about the Vizards' masks is that none of them changed, not even slightly. The masks that first appeared when they were hollowified are the same mask we see 100 years later. Even though after 100 years they gained full control over their masks and could suppress their hollows perfectly, there were no design changes. And this makes me think guys that almost all the Vizards in our hollow are completely separate from their Zanpakuto spirits. It's like what we used to think about Zangetsu the Osan and Hollow White. Because at first when Ichigo entered his inner world to fight the Hollow, the common belief was that the old man Zangetsu was his Shinigami power, while White was just an invading Hollow force. But of course, we later found out that things weren't that simple for Ichigo. However, I believe that this is how it works for the Vizards. They have a Zanpakuto spirit, and they also have a hollow they fought in order to control their masks. That's probably why most of the Vizards' masks are pure white, without any of those red lines that become such a signature feature of Ichigo's mask. And Sir Hachigen has a decorative, patterned mask, but the only mask with the red marks similar to Ichigo's mask is Hyuri. But also guys, I can't deny the possibility that those red shapes on her mask could just be decorative, but it's also possible that there is a reason behind them, something similar to Ichigo's case. How is that? I believe the red lines on Ichigo's mask represent his Shinigami powers, and the reason they are red is because, as we know, a Shinigami spiritual thread is red. So I think that's because the hollow merged completely with Ichigo's Shinigami powers, both becoming a single Zanpakuto. That fusion caused the red lines to appear on the mask, visually expressing the emergence of his Shinigami powers. If you go back and look at White before he merged with Ichigo's body, his mask was plain white, with no red marks at all. Yes, White was created using a Shinigami body, but his situation was more like the Vizards, two powers coexisting in one body. As for Hiyori, it could be because she is the youngest of the Vizards, a fact Kubo confirmed in one of his answers. So maybe she to experience a partial fusion between her Hollow and her Zanpakuto, or at least the Hollow might have touched her Zanpakuto, which then became tainted with Hollow energy, and that might cause some of the Shinigami power to reflect in her mask. Or maybe the markings, as I said, they are just for show and have no meaning. But when it comes to Ichigo, I firmly believe the red lines symbolize his Shinigami power. The mask before entering Ichigo's body had no red lines. Then when Ichigo first awakened his Shinigami power, it had two lines. And each time Ichigo progressed in his Shinigami power grow, whether it leaked out of the old man Zangetsu's grip or was intentionally released to help him win, the number of the lines increased. From 2 lines during his first use of the mask to 4 lines after his battle against Zaraki. Then in the Ankara arc, after completing his mask control training, the lines increased to 9, and during the fight against Ilikura, they reached 10. So as I said, the lines on the mask originally represent Ichigo's Shinigami power and how it is manifested on one side of him, showing how Ichigo's Shinigami power was gradually increasing over time. But even so, what we need to understand, guys, is that the mask in the end, the entire mask is simply a partial manifestation of Ichigo's full Shinigami power. Because as we know, Ichigo wasn't fighting at his full strength. Zangetsu the Osan was only allowing a small portion of Ichigo's Shinigami power to leak out, power that Ichigo couldn't control, which would then manifest at those red lines. But Ichigo's complete Shinigami power is expressed in the form of the mask, a horn, and also signs on his chest. And these are the signs of Ichigo's Shinigami power at its peak, fully unleashed and without any restraints. And that brings me to another question. Why during the battle with Ilikura, when Ichigo appeared in his full hollow form, did the lines turn black? Only 2 identical lines appeared. Even after that fight, when Ichigo used the mask again, whether against Aizen or Gin, the markings had become just 2 black lines. My personal theory, guys, about this, the change in the color of the lines from red to black is because of the influence of the Osan Zangetsu. Because within Ichigo, the blackness is always associated with Zangetsu. And during Ichigo's inner battle with White, if you remember, when the tide began to turn in Ichigo's favor and he touched White's hand, White's body started to turn black. So I believe that when Ichigo was on the brink of the death and the Osan released Ichigo's Shinigami power, the hollow side, to save him, that power was automatically tainted by the Osan, so to speak, and was turned to black, just like what happened to White in that internal battle with Ichigo. In fact, guys, if you remember, even when Ichigo wanted to awaken the Horn of Salvation during his fight against Yuaba, he relied on Zangetsu's Ryatsu to awaken White. And once again, a black line appeared on half his face, the horn, and even the spider-like lines across his chest. So guys, to summarize what I have said, the first mask before entering Ichigo's body was just hollow power, so it had no markings. When Ichigo first awakened his powers, the markings were few and in red, symbolizing the Shinigami power that the Osan wasn't controlling. And these lines increased with stronger battles and as Ichigo gained more power. But in the fight against Ilikura, a massive surge of Shinigami power came out, and the lines became just 2, colored black because of the Osan Zangetsu's influence, and that remained the case even during his battle against Aizen and Gin. But as I said before, in the end, the mask is just a part of Ichigo's greater Shinigami power. So guys, what do you think about what I have said about this topic? Do you agree with me? Do you have other theories? Tell me guys about them in the comments, and see you in my next video.